Yeah.
Yeah, the insurance company don't
Right.
release it yet because it's such a big thing. And they have $2 million to
Well,
spend on
yeah,
it.
it's at times like these you really realize it's called service for a reason, public service.
7,000 square foot house.
You know, believe me, I'd rather be with family too.
I know I'll have eternity, but
Pardon me? Oh, yeah. If they put somebody on notice.
So many.
I just turned on the microphone.
I'll now call this meeting to order. If we could have roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Present.
Commissioner Asper,
present.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Present.
Commissioner Lamore,
Present.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Present.
Commissioner Swartout,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Levens,
Present.
quorum present.
We'd all now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Levens. We'll now have our opening prayer.
Heavenly Father, we pray against the schemes of the devil over this meeting, and instead we pray that you rule over this meeting. We wait upon you, Lord, knowing that you shall renew our strength. We will mount up like wings like eagles. We shall not run and not be weary. We shall walk and not faint. We declare that this is the meeting that shall be effective and spirit-led. We declare that we will be blessed by this gathering. In Jesus' glorious name we pray. Amen.
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 Now, if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Moved by Levens, supported by Lamore. Any questions on the agenda? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes,
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next up is approval of the minutes from the April 7, 2026 regular meeting. If I could get a motion, please.
I'll make that motion and waive the reading. Support.
Second that.
Moved by Lamore, supported by Swartout. Any questions, corrections, additions to the minutes? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
present. Yes. I'm sorry, yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We now move into our first segment of public comment. Are there citizens who wish to address the board?
Ned Berkey from Ida. Just in case any of you were wondering, according to the Climate Prediction Center Drought Monitor, we are no longer in drought. We've had more rain in the last 6 weeks of March and April than we had in the previous 7 months from August through February. So some good news. One statistic, who owns America's farmland? Supposedly nearly, and I haven't seen the details, nearly 80% of U.S. farmland is owned by non-farmers. I'm not sure that would be true in Monroe County, but I do get calls from Virginia, San Diego, and elsewhere about farmland being rented in Monroe County. Land prices and cash rents, though, are holding steady because there's tremendous competition for land, even though prices are not good. You saw probably in the news, the University of Michigan consumer sentiment for April was at 47, the lowest in the history of their survey. And the same with the Purdue Chicago Mercantile Exchange survey of farmer sentiment. That's short-term farmers are bullish because it's a growing season. Long-term, they're holding back. One other short message. Cattle prices, the Secretary of Ag, even just today, is trying to announce importing more beef from Mexico. A lot of Mexican calves come into the U.S., Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and then the farmers in the U.S. raise them up to beef. Since that New World screwworm, everything's been halted since 2024. And so they're still working to try to get around that. Darrell Peel, a livestock economist from Oklahoma State, is projecting it could be 2030 before beef cattle numbers get back to normal size in the U.S. A couple of good news, though, in the Wall Street Journal. Over the weekend, Trump bolsters biofuels to aid farmers. So we have a ethanol plant in Riga that was a farmer-owned cooperative when it was built. It's now owned by Zealand Farm Services. When that was up and running before, it upped the price of corn paid to farmers 50 cents a bushel because they needed 60,000 bushels of corn every day to keep that plant running. And so hopefully Zealand will get that plant up and running, and that will aid farmers in this area with another market for corn and aid in competition for that. Same with biodiesel. I have a 13-year-old tractor that I bought new, and it's only ever run on soy biodiesel. We've had meetings here in Monroe County over the past 25 years with Jerry Oley, with the Monroe Public Schools on school buses using soy biodiesel, at the marinas, at the Road Commission. Senator Debbie Stabenow was at the Road Commission to announce a new biofueling facility there. The problem all during that era was biodiesel was more expensive than regular diesel, and so nobody could afford to put it in. But the Road Commission was always interested in biohydraulic fluid, because if they have a hydraulic fluid leak, say in the wintertime, with regular petroleum oil, that's 45 gallons of hazardous waste. If it's soy hydraulic fluid, that's environmentally friendly. So when you go in northern Michigan, the UP, they tend to like to use the soy product because it's biodegradable. The salt mine underneath Detroit, they run on 100% soybean diesel. So soy diesel is a good thing. When Mr. Dingell was our congressman, we had meetings with the big three several times. The automakers could care less about E15 versus E10 as long as the engines would run properly, and they have for the last 20 years. So it's all an engine feature, not a manufacturing feature. So unfortunately, Mrs. Dingell last year, she was upset that the school buses had the black smoke. Well, the smoke that you see in the exhaust of diesel is from sulfur that's put in the engine to lubricate the engine. You take out the sulfur, you get rid of the black smoke, but you need something to provide lubricity to the engine. 2% soybean oil does that, okay? So 20% just helps farmers even more, okay? So a couple of things from the president that hopefully on ethanol and diesel, that would be something that would benefit our farmers in Monroe County, okay? The other thing, really quick, this was in yesterday's Wall Street. Farmers aren't happy with John Deere's $99 million settlement on sharing the technology of repairs. So nowadays, equipment is so complicated, you don't care about farm equipment, but the same technology is in the automotive industry. That's where all of you really care. And so John Deere was not sharing the technology to allow farmers to make their own repairs. They had to go to a John Deere dealer. One farmer, it cost him over $500,000 in extra repairs because he had to use the dealer, and it was a lot more expensive than him trying to do it himself. When Russia invaded Ukraine, they were stealing John Deere tractors and John Deere combines. John Deere in Moline, Illinois, turned the equipment off so the Soviets couldn't run it. Can you imagine that? So the technology these days is absolutely amazing. And the automotive industry is watching to see what happens with this Deere settlement, to see if all the plaintiffs accept this or where it goes for the automotive industry for people to do some repairs. So just a couple of highlights, Mr. Chairman and Board.
Thank you. Are there other citizens who wish to address the board?
Good evening. I'm Michael Davison, a retired lieutenant from the Sheriff's Office in Monroe County, hopefully here to prevent history from repeating itself. I had over 30 years of service. I hold a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Wayne State University. I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy at Quantico, Virginia. I'm currently president of Davison Investigation Court, a licensed private investigation agency here in the state of Michigan. I'm also a contract field investigator with the Department of Homeland Security and hold a top secret clearance. The reason I state my credentials is because I know what an investigation, proper investigation looks like, and this is not it. And you guys all know what this is. Okay. My understanding is the county retained Boardman attorneys and counselors, and they in turn hired a Mark Bortello and Bortello Associations based in California to conduct this investigation. My review indicates that neither one appears to hold a professional investigator's license in the state of Michigan as required under Michigan Public Act 285 of 1965. Under Michigan law, any individual or agency conducting investigative activity within the state must properly be licensed. There is no reciprocity in Michigan with any other state for investigators. So the question is straightforward. Was an investigation work conducted in Michigan? Yes. If so, under what license or what authority did he conduct his investigation? If none exist, why was an unlicensed out-of-state investigator allowed to conduct and interview citizens of Monroe County? If the investigation was conducted without proper licensure, the board must consider what the findings are reliable, whether the proper procedures were followed, whether the county relied upon work that fails to meet Michigan legal standards. I'm not making assumptions. I'm just asking for transparency and accountability. At a minimum, the board and the public deserve to know. Who conducted the investigation, under what authority, and whether that authority complied with Michigan law. Until those questions are answered and the credibility of this investigation remains in doubt. Proper license exists for a reason, and that's to protect the public and ensure accountability. Ignoring that requirement undermines both. So I'm not asking for speculation, I'm asking for documentation. A valid Michigan license number for Bortello, or a notarized and not backdated document of relationship with a licensed Michigan investigative agency. If it exists, produce it. If it does not, the board must explain why due diligence was not performed before relying on this report. Let's begin with the most basic, because the report does not tell us who authored it. No name, no investigator identified, no qualifications, and no accountability. Just a report with information. So I asked the board directly, did anyone verify who conducted this investigation before accepting it? The report includes multiple allegations that it expressly admits could not be verified. The alleged letter of support attributed to Sheriff Goodness. There's no report. There's no letter. Nobody produced anything. Claims of shared vacations. Anybody see them? Anybody prove it? Any witnesses testify to it? Not in this report, but it's there in the report. A property-related allegation denied and unsupported. No evidence, no witnesses, no tape statements from anybody that can justify that statement in this report. The report states there are investigative reports, witness statements, and board governance records collectively described that a public perceives a sustained and coordinated consolidation of political, administrative, and operational authority within Monroe County. This consolidation was historically attributed to 4 senior officials, controlling county operations and county government. Okay? This is based on perception, not findings. Anywhere in that report where they said anybody showed that or they can prove that? No. They characterized the group as the group of four, which include Mark Bryant, Mike Bosonic, Andrea Armstrong, and Sheriff Troy Goodenough. Nothing there to back that up. Nothing there. Yet these unverified allegations were still included in an official report that was presented to this board and the public. So the question becomes, who made the decision to include the unverified allegations in taxpayer-funded investigation? Because when unverified, potentially false statements are published in an official report, they are not simply careless, they are creating legal exposure. And some of you know that I know what I'm talking about that, right? Under Michigan law, that exposure includes potential defamation claims. So I asked, did the board consider the liability before accepting and distributing this report, or was that never addressed? The investigation was funded by the citizens of Monroe County. The public is entitled to know how much has been paid, what specific services were provided, and why was the level of work deemed acceptable. My understanding is you've already paid $130,000 out. And is there a limit to what else is going to be spent for this investigation, alleged investigation? Also, my understanding is that legal advisors have already hit their retainer fee. So anything now is going to be billed at an hourly rate. It's only April. It's only April. I just want you to think. And don't get yourselves into a position that a previous board did. Okay? That's all I'm asking, because we as citizens in the county of Monroe deserve better. Okay? Thank you for taking time to listen to me. Any questions? I left you all packet because I abbreviated this in the letter that I wrote the board along with the Freedom of Information Act I've requested. My card's on it, so if anybody wants to give me a call, please feel free to do so, and we can discuss it. Thank you.
Are there other citizens who wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move into resolution, special tributes, and presentation. Item number 1 is the CASA presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jerica Sharp, and I am the Director of CASA. I've had the privilege of serving in this role for almost 5 years now. I want to thank you for taking time today to learn about the work we do and the children we serve in our community. So in 2024, Monroe County had an average of 95 children in care. In 2025, that number averaged 83 children, and so far in 2026, we have around 70 children in care. This is in foster care through DHHS. When children experience abuse or neglect, they may be removed from their homes to ensure their safety. Ideally, they're placed with relatives to reduce the trauma of removal. But for many reasons, that's not always possible. Some children enter a licensed foster home with people they've never met until the moment that they arrive. Whether they're placed with someone familiar or with strangers, it's undeniably a frightening and confusing time for that child. This is where CASA volunteers step in. CASA of Monroe County is your local court-appointed special advocate program. CASA volunteers serve as the eyes and ears of the court and the voice of the child, advocating for their best interests while they are under the court protection. Our mission is to help ensure that every child find a safe, stable, and permanent home as quickly as possible. Our volunteers complete an 8-week, 30-hour training program where they learn how court proceedings work, how to write court reports, how to work alongside professionals, and how to visit with children. A CASA visit is not an interrogation of a clinical appointment. We do not ask children to recount their trauma. Instead, we show up as a safe, consistent, and caring adult who spends time with them in ways that feels natural and comfortable, like reading, coloring, or engaging in simple activities they enjoy. Through these interactions, we build trust, observe their well-being, and get to know who they truly are. While we never prompt children to talk about their traumatic experiences, CASA volunteers are trained to respond appropriately and supportively if a child chooses to disclose something on their own. Our presence helps show children that not every adult is frightening and that we are there to support them, not to disrupt their lives. Here's a snapshot of our recent work. In 2023, 16 advocates served about 30 children. 11 of those children found permanency. That means either they were reunified or they were adopted or placed in a juvenile guardianship. In 2024, 11 advocates served 26 children. 2 of those children found permanency. In 2025, 10 advocates served 23 children. 16 of those children found permanency. So far in 2026, we have 6 advocates serving 8 children. 4 of those children are anticipated to find permanency this year. We have 3 children who have been referred and not assigned a case due to where the children are placed. So remember, we have about 70 children in care right now. That's around 62 children not having an advocate right now. We currently have 14 trained advocates with 7 waiting for cases. In the last 2 years, the courts have sent us only 7 new cases, and all but 1 has been assigned. That one has remained unassigned because the child is placed out of county. Since this has been updated, we have received 2 more cases from DHHS with a total of 3 children. 2 of them were assigned an advocate within a week of getting the referral. The other one was not assigned as they, again, are placed out of county. And we cannot consistently visit the child if they're placed out of county. These children are being placed in Romulus, Grand Rapids. We already have an advocate driving to Grand Rapids to visit a child. So every case is different, and permanency can take anywhere from 6 months to several years. I personally served on a case with 7 children, all with varying special needs, over the course of 4 years. During that time, the children experienced 4 different placements and many changes in professionals. Each new move, each new adult brought new trauma. As a CASA advocate, I was the constant. I visited every week. I observed how the children were doing in their foster home, at school, and during visits with their biological parents. I saw firsthand how trauma shaped their behaviors. Children who would suddenly withdraw, children who struggled in school on visitation days, children who acted out because they were overwhelmed. 3 of the children reached guardianship 2 years ago and began to thrive, attending school regularly, receiving needed services, and making huge developmental gains. The other 4 were reunified for 6 months before being removed again. When they re-entered foster care, they were struggling deeply, running away from home, fighting, overeating when food was available, sleeping through school, but with the right support, they made remarkable progress. One child in particular transformed from being so aggressive that I wasn't comfortable being alone with him to a child who now sings, dances, speaks in full sentences, reads, and even knows when he needs a break and how to ask for it. These are those 7 children. Despite the ups and downs, I remained committed to advocating for what was best for them. In 2025, I had the honor of standing with all 7 children as their cases closed in adoption. Ms. Drew added 4 children to her family. Ms. Ramo added 2 children to her already very large family with a bunch of adopted children. And Ms. Layton added 1 child to her family as well. One of our longest serving advocates has volunteered with CASA for 28 years. When asked when she plans to retire, she always says, when there are no more children in foster care who need a voice. And as Judge Arnold often said, he wished he had a CASA volunteer on every case, even the divorce cases, he joked. CASA volunteers visit their assigned children every 7 to 10 days for about an hour. On average, advocates spend 3 to 5 hours a week working their case through the various, depending on placement and court schedules. Right now, over 70 children in Monroe County are placed in foster care due to abuse and neglect. These are children uprooted from everything familiar, often scared, often alone. Research shows that children without a stable, supportive adult are more likely to struggle in school, become teen parents, and nearly 1/4 will face incarceration between the ages of 18 and 20. A CASA volunteer can be the difference, a steady voice, a safe presence, and an advocate fighting for their future. The court's pause in sending new cases does not change the reality. Many children in our community still urgently need CASA advocates. If you can offer even a few hours each week, please get in touch right away to start making a difference. If you can you can change a child's life just for those few hours a week. Please reach out, get involved, and help us ensure that no child goes through this system without a voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the important work that you do. It's unbelievably important, the work that you do for our children, so thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question, please. I have one question. Does the foster homes, is it a husband and wife that take the kids in, or is it just one side or the other?
It depends. In Ms. Drew's case, she was a single woman. Ms. Ramo was single, and Ms. Layton were all single. They had a calling to help children in need, so that's what they
Because
decided.
they're tough kids sometimes. If there's a male involved with the female and they're a team, they can direct them a little better, it seems, maybe.
Yeah, they have a good support systems. Ms. Drew has a very close best friend who the kids refer to as their dad, even though he's not with their mother at all. But they're very close, and he comes and spends time with them and takes the kids to go do things so that she gets a break if she needs it. And right now, she has 2 other foster children in her home. So she has a total of 6 children in her home right now.
So you're looking for foster homes then?
Right now, our goal is to get more cases. I have 7 advocates waiting for cases.
Are you having
Thank
any
you.
open houses or reaching out for more volunteers?
We have, but due to the fact that we're not getting cases right now, I have 7 advocates sitting there. I'd hate to train more people right now just to sit there and wait with these other 7.
You're actually in a good position now where you have the hands, you're just looking for the work.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And these are the cases that, break your heart. You had a very nice presentation, but early in my career, I did these cases, the abuse and neglect, and the timeline for the social workers and the attorneys are typically not long because they're the hard cases that keep you up. They break your heart. They jerk the the heartstrings the most, because it's not the kid's fault that these come up. It's unfortunate circumstances with parents that can be as unintentional as mental illness or horrible as addiction. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Asper?
I just had a question too. I know there's a concern about children who've been emancipated. Do these children, if they don't get adopted, do they become emancipated at 18, or what happens with those children?
It's a case-by-case basis. We had one advocate on a case and the child aged out of foster care, but DHHS also has a program that those children can sign up for where they can maintain their caseworker until age 21.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Our next item is an emergency management presentation by Mr. Bradley Smith, Interim Director.
Good evening. My name is Brad Smith. I'm acting as the Interim Director of Emergency Management for the county. I've been doing that since late February. Since then, we have been working, when I say we, it's been me. My Deputy Director, Jennifer, has been off on medical since that time as well. I have a staff of 3 part-time workers. They all work on the UASC grants, so they're working as planners. They can't do anything very much on the operational side. Yet they have helped me with 2 oil spills or 2 diesel spills, and recently with the the straight line winds that happened on the Easter weekend. So everything's been going steady. My number 1 tasks have been working with Fermi and getting the HAB exercises up and running. We just had our HAB tabletop exercise. We had about 70 people go through that training, and that was last Thursday on the 16th. It was about a 4-hour training, and that was one of many tabletop exercises that we're going to continue to go through. We have 3 with hospitals, 3 with schools, and then another one where we're all graded. And FEMA will come in on the last 3 of each one of these exercises and grade them. And that's where Fermi gets their approval to continue to operate and run. We've been doing that. I've been working hard to study the HAB situation, the rad nuke. I come with a 17, almost 20 years experience in emergency management from the city of Dearborn, but I did very little in rad nuke in that time, so I've been learning that. I've been calling the experts from the state. They were working side by side with me. They're working hand in hand with me and getting me through the situation. I feel confident that if anything were to happen, I know who to call. I know what I don't know, but I also know the people that can come and help us and bail us out of that situation. Right now, we're doing our best. We're doing great. And again, once Jennifer can come back, from her medical leave, I think we'll be able to hit the ground running even harder. Are there any questions of
Yes,
that?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Sure. I'm curious, the other day when we had the tabletop, you're calling that?
Yes, sir.
Drill, should any of us be involved, any of us commissioners, the district that the Fermi's in, or?
That's an excellent question, and eventually, yes, I would like to see, because we have seats in the Emergency Operations Center, 2 of which need to be manned, and I'm doing orientations with the people. I don't know the entire EOC team just yet. I know a lot of the players, but I don't know all of them, so I've been calling them, emailing them, and trying to get to do a face-to-face. If they're well up to speed, do they need any additional training? There's a lot of incident command. There's a lot of independent study training that needs to be done. And I'm just trying to get that playing field leveled so that all players can respond and work in a perfect unison team. So eventually, yes. Maybe not so much as workers in the EOC, but as observers and things like that. I would love to see you guys come out and watch your first responders and everybody work hand in hand with the outside agencies as well.
So now, do you bring local first responders out there from
Yes,
some of
sir.
our stations?
Yes, we worked, we had help from Wayne County as well. So we had Wayne County Sheriffs, Monroe County Sheriffs. We had Frenchtown Fire. We had some Berlin Township firefighter, Monroe. I'm trying to think who else. But we had several others working in the incident command and operations part of this tabletop exercise. What we do is we run through a scenario of what if. And then we put them out and say, okay, solve this problem, come back, and now we're going to add to the problem, or maybe it's going to go away. So,
I know people in my district all the time are asking about Fermi, even though we're the furthest
Yeah.
out there, we're on the other far end of the county, but, and how long are we gonna get to keep you? You got 20 years before you retire?
I retired once.
Well, we appreciate you, we appreciate
Thank you,
what you're
sir.
doing, thank you.
Appreciate it. And I've been working with the police chiefs meetings. I've been going to those, the fire chiefs meetings, and the firefighters meetings as well. So, trying to get any training, any information, spreading that to all districts, not just.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Not necessarily a question, but just a thank you for letting me tour
Yes, sir.
the facility, number one. And number two, I invite the rest of us commissioners to get out there and check it out. It's fascinating, obviously, and I think it'll be a great learning situation for all of you to get out there and see what we have to offer and see what we're missing, in a sense, in our responses to emergencies and or what we don't know, I should say. And I appreciate your information that you gave me while I was out there last week, and it was very very helpful to me to know what I should be doing and where I should be at, and what you expect out of us, because that's what we're here for, and that's why we get voted in, is to protect
Right.
the citizens in Monroe County. So
Yeah.
thank you again.
Thank you, and I can't do it myself. That's why we have a team, and I don't command a situation. I don't control a scene. I coordinate. I'm your resource allocation. I get you the stuff to put this incident to sleep, and I do that with the help of my team, which is everybody in the EOC. And you're definitely one of those people that has a seat there. So yes. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is a presentation of the 2025 Monroe County Central Dispatch Annual Report by Central Dispatch Director Donna Cootie. Could we get a motion ahead of her presentation, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll make a second.
Moved by Huffman, supported by Lamore. Now we'll hear her presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Wenzel, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present a brief overview of Dispatch's 2025 Annual Report. In 2025, just over $3.9 million was collected through local and state county 911 funds. Local collection amounts were 1.5% lower than in 2024. There are approximately 131 service providers and an estimated 153,000 devices used in the county. 911 funds are used toward the staffing of 22 full-time and 2 part-time dispatch positions working 12-hour shifts. Additionally, state training funds are also collected based on the number of full-time regular hours worked by employees. 1,333 state-paid training hours were completed by employees totaling $26,340. I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank our team of dispatchers and supervisors for their ability to adapt to the ever-evolving changes in 911 during long shifts and countless hours, and who in general keep rolling with the punches. Funding and training allow dispatch to provide service to 155,000 county residents, visitors, 686 law enforcement and fire first responders, and also interact with various agencies and departments throughout the county. This service is provided through the use of call handling equipment, computer-aided dispatch, and 20-plus applications used daily, improving service to our callers and providing specific information for first responders. 2025 added a backup dispatch center via the incident command vehicle. This backup includes Mevo Anywhere kits, which are 911 phones that are portable and can be taken and plugged in anywhere there is an internet connection, limiting the downtime in the event of an emergency. Additionally, updated radio consoles were added, including encryption modules to ready us for this year's CJIS compliance requirements. Emergency fire dispatch was added to our call processing, assisting our dispatchers in managing 35 core fire scenarios. The EFD assists our dispatchers in identifying high-risk situations, provides scene safety information to first responders, and life-saving instructions to our callers. Funding, staffing, training, and technology allow us to receive and process the 158,223 911 non-emergency and text to 911 calls coming into dispatch. June and July were our busiest months for 25, with our peak business hour being 3 p.m. 87% of our callers are wireless, with 1% using text to 911. Use of landlines is approximately 3%, and by 2029, companies aim to phase out landlines completely. From the calls answered in dispatch, just over 112,000 calls were dispatched to police, fire, and EMS. As we move through 2026 and beyond, the technology landscape will change the way we dispatch, bringing us closer to exploring AI for non-emergency call taking, CAD-to-CAD integrations for faster dispatching, and various other real-time data sharing through integrations of our applications. I would like to thank this board and our citizens for your continued support, and at any time I'm available to ask any questions. Thank you.
Are there questions from board members?
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Donna.
I'll call for the vote, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is a resolution to establish monthly surcharge rate for Central Dispatch 911 system funding. It's a three-part resolution. Letter A, letter dated April 15, 2026, from Mr. Michael Bosanic, Administrator, Chief Financial Officer, recommending approval of the resolution to establish the surcharge at $2 per line per month. Letter B, letter dated March 31, 2026, from Ms. Donna Cootie, Director, Central Dispatch, providing recommendations from the 911 District Authority Board for the 2026-27 911 surcharge. And letter C, resolution to establish a monthly surcharge rate for Central Dispatch 911 system funding effective July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027. Could I get a motion for this, please? Motion. Moved by Swartout, supported by Huffman. Are there questions or comments on the motion? Commissioner Asper.
I would just like to mention that previously we talked about the fact that we pay taxes and that that money could come from that instead of doing these surcharges. So it's an old argument, but I just feel like we need to consider that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item is a resolution declaring May 10 through 16, 2026 as Police Week in Monroe County, Michigan. Could I get a motion to approve this adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Levens, supported by Heinzerling. Are there questions or comments on this motion? Commissioner Asper?
I was just going to mention that the request had come because May 4th is when they do a candlelight vigil for those police officers and law enforcement that have been lost in the last year, and that'll be in Lansing.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, moving on to finance matters. Item number 1, payment of the April 22, 2026 accounts payable current claims report in the amount of $1,347,068.95. Could I get a motion, please?
Make the motion.
Moved by Heinzerling,
I'll second that.
supported by Huffman. I'll turn it over to Sue.
Thank you. On page number 2, vendor number 131496, Michigan State Police Cashier's Office. It's annual Homeland Security Conference registration for 3 employees. Page number 3, vendor number 134147, Arbor Press, 2026 recycling events calendar and mailing paid through the Solid Waste Fund. Vendor number 160012, Cybus PC, it's pre-employment testing for 10 public safety employees. Page number 4, vendor number 192290, Solid Design Software Solutions. It's the annual software maintenance for the drain software. Vendor number 400170, City of Monroe, ARPA-funded 50% reimbursement of the Frenchtown Township Sewer Lining Project. Page number 5, vendor number 722253, Vital Core Health Strategies. It's contractual medical services provided to the jail facilities and the youth center, and that's the end of my list.
Any questions? Yes. Mr. Levens.
Question on page 3, I believe, or it's page 2, there's an item for Meadow Montessori School. What is that for, if you know?
That
Page,
is
2.
a grant through the Solid Waste Fund.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
No.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Our next item is the consent agenda, approval of non-claims. Letter A, check register dated April 10, 2026, in the amount of $1,101,119.59. Letter B, check register dated April 17, 2026, in the amount of $276,498.23. Could I get a motion, please? Moved by Levens. Supported by Swartout. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinderling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lovemore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, under Communications, Item 1, Operations Committee, the report from April 16th, 2026 meeting. Item A, change order agreement dated April 14th, 2026 for Mr. Dan Raymond to provide professional supporting services to the county fiscal services at an hourly rate of $200 and a total cost not to exceed $63,000 within the Finance Department for services up to June 30, 2026. Could I get a motion, please? Moved by Heinzerling,
Support.
supported by Lamore. Other questions on the motion? Yes, Commissioner Asper.
I just don't see this as a good solution for the problem. We're down 3 employees. Also, I needed to know, are they the same people who do our auditing? Not that they aren't very, very fine people, but when you have them doing some of our finances and then you have them doing our auditing, that it has other appearances, I think. How much would it cost us to do what was originally requested, which was to have a couple of employees to make up for the 3 that were down? Comparison-wise, how much would that be? That would be much more. I mean, this is a temporary fix, and I just feel like it's a more expensive temporary fix than if we just were to get some employees that we're going to need anyway.
I think Mr. Bosanic wants to respond. I saw you raising your hand.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Commissioner Asper. So in this arrangement for this, it's really described as a change order, if you see in the communication from Raymond, from Dan Merritt as the principal on our audit engagement. Whatever services are provided by Raymond, by an employee of Raymond, we are ultimately responsible as management for that work product. And so in this arrangement, what we've done is we've carved out what we believe are the simplest things to carve out to the auditor without going through a bunch of training into the county finance operations, and that simply being grants. Grants, for the most part, it's grant administration. It's grant administration here, Lenawee, maybe not Wayne County, but another county. It's the same process. And so that's something that we would carve all of our grant administration and grant reporting to this individual. We still, in our office, myself, ultimately responsible, would sign off on all that work, but allows us to kind of shelve this work to this individual so that we can concentrate on the other things that are priority in our office. Payroll. Payroll is the first thing that we've got to get it out the door. And yes, we are short there. The next is financial reporting across the board. You just approve non-claims, claims. There's a significant process that goes into that. We're running a $100 million plus organization here. We need this assistance right now. Chairman and I had a conversation. We didn't make the operations committee meeting because we were talking about this issue. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, but I conveyed to him that this is really just buying us some time so that we can address the needs in our office. And when the auditors come in, my conversation, I have a kind of pre-audit meeting with the principal. What's going on in Monroe County, Bosanic? What's happening in the finance operation? Where should we be looking? What's the concerns? And I'm honest, I tell them, like, we're really struggling in the finance division. We're short on staff. And I think he conveyed that to the chairman, I believe the vice chairman. There's no secrets. We have conversations about what's going on. And so in this instance, I'd rather not have to do this, but tonight we have to do this so that we can continue to provide the financial services to this organization and a whole myriad of customers who depend on us, from consultants to contractors to all kinds of folks. We've got to get stuff out the door. And so, we've got an audit. We have 2 audits right now. The financial audit, I think we've got down. It's the IRS audit, which is, they had a 10 or 12-page document request that we got last week, and we're working on that with our departments on a whole host of things. And so, as a long response, I hope I answered your 2 questions that I think that you had. And Chairman Wenzel, did I say anything that we didn't talk about or misconstrue?
No, I would agree, I thank you for addressing the role that RAIM is going to play for this short-term solution.
And are we going to actually be posting for people to replace our shortages?
Well, I think we need to have some conversations, and I do think the original solution was kind of on a fast track. I don't think enough information got out in a timely manner. I think.
Well, we did take it off the agenda from the last meeting, so it was kind of hard to discuss it.
I'm talking prior to the Operations Committee meeting.
No, I'm
Well-
talking about our last meeting here.
I understand.
Okay. I'm just wondering because, you just can't find people overnight. So I just was wondering if we knew, that we are actually posting for this and looking for somebody in the meantime while we're doing the short gap.
Well, we're going to have a lot of detailed conversations about the prospects of solving this problem long term.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Commissioner Moore?
Well, I guess just from your last response, so what are those conversations including if it's not hiring someone for that department? What other solutions would you have?
Well, I would say there's more to come on that. When I tried to explain that we were missing some information when this was originally brought to operations, it was a new director position. But really, the short-term issue was a key employee had left the finance department and went out to the health department. So that put them in a real pinch. And so not being aware of that, then questions that I would have as chairman is, well, what are we doing? Are we replacing the person that left, or is this a director plus a replacement? And so those are the questions that Mr. Bosanic and I are going to discuss, along with Vice Chairman Lamore, in the very near future to try to get a fix on this.
Okay, just because at that price, that's an expensive stopgap. $63,000 for about 50 days worth of work. I mean, and if they're down 3 employees over the last 3 years, that's 120 man hours a week. And we talk about retention in this county, especially in the police department and other departments. I'd like to have some type of conversation moving forward if we need a permanent replacement in that department to make sure we keep getting those 100% and A+ audit results. And especially with ARPA funds, I mean, those audits have become even more intense. And I know that's just a small part of what the finance department does. But if you're saying you're going to be in conversations with that, I would vote for this tonight, but it's really not my first choice of vote. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I hope we do view it as a stopgap.
Yeah. Commissioner Asper?
I just think too, you start losing employees when the stress gets, accounting is just, I mean, that's a very stressful job. My son does this, CFO type of a job, and I know how stressful it gets. And so I just want to make sure that our employees are protecting their mental health and their physical health because, we don't want anyone else leaving. So we want to make sure this is expeditious, that's all.
I agree. Vice Chairman Lamore?
Thank you. And I agree with both of your sentiments regarding the finance department. We don't want anybody else to leave. We want to keep our employees where they're at. I agree wholeheartedly with that. But with the short notice that we had in bringing in a new employee, we thought that it'd be best to bring in some professional help, and Raymond provided that, or is going to provide that. They're bringing somebody that's going to be right up to speed, bring us back where we need to be to ensure that the finance department lands fully on their feet rather than taking a crippling blow. So that's mainly the reason we wanted to bring in Raymond to help suffice this situation and not necessarily hire a new employee that we'd have to bring up to speed.
Mr. Chair, the proposal that was prior to this was actually $40,000 more than what this proposal to accomplish the same task My understanding is that one that came before operations was proposing 100,000 that didn't encompass, talent that was going to hit the ground running, but, new people that need to be brought up to speed and, the other things that come into play with this. So this would be the stopgap to get to that spot.
Right. The actualized cost over time would be less expensive, though, for a permanent employee, instead of paying someone $200 an hour for 55 days of work.
Additional comments or questions?
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Just to clarify, yes, Commissioner Levens, it was right around 100,000 for the annualized, or to get us through the end of the year, and that would have retained our 20-year employee within the finance department. So in addition to the other things that were mentioned, we recently converted our financial software. That's a really big lift. We're also working on converting the budget software, which is required in order for us to have the budget. So we absolutely appreciate this stopgap measure, but it doesn't compare to what we would have had.
Commissioner Asper, you had a comment?
I guess I just need to know at this point if this will satisfy our problem in the, I mean, I want to go along with what Mr. Bosanic needs. That's my point of view right now, because he has been the one that has kept this county in the black and doing very, very well. And he has that knowledge. So I just want to make sure that we are going to get these. I mean, people leave. The reason we have that third person leave probably has to do with the fact that we did not have adequate employees, manning the ship already. And so I just don't want to kick the can down the road, to use a phrase that has been overused. But I just want to be assured that we are going to take care of the problem instead of get into another situation like this. And I want to make sure that our employees stay. Like she was mentioning, a 20-year employee, these are the kind of people that we need to keep. So I don't want to push it down the road far enough that we end up losing somebody else. So that's all.
There are no other questions or comments. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next item is a funding recommendation dated April 7, 2026 for infrastructure investment under the Monroe Link Plan 2.0 in the amount of $1,081,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act funds toward a stormwater management project in Frenchtown Township as part of an economic development plan. If we could get a motion on this.
I'll second that.
Moved by Heinzerling, supported by Huffman. Questions on this motion?
Can they explain it just a little bit? I think they're here, aren't they? Oh, Michael's coming over.
Yeah, Mr. Ewell, all excited, Mr. Chairman. He heard $1 billion. I thought he was going to jump out of his chair back there. He had his pen in hand, everything.
I thought I was reading the appraisal report.
Oh, yeah, from last week, yeah. So, well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner. So a little bit about this. In your packet is the same format that we've used for all ARPA-funded projects. We go through a description of the project, what it entails, what's our contribution amount, what is it for in terms of the component. This is part of infrastructure for this project. Maybe you recall in 2024, Mr. Lake and I were here and we talked about projects in the pipeline, and we described those as projects that we were bringing to the county, but they were not ready for moving across the finish line yet. More work needed to be done, working with investors and developers. And so this project now represents one of those projects in the pipeline that is now ready to go across the finish line. So after about 3 years of effort, we're now ready to make this recommendation to the board. Some notes about this project at a very high level. It's within Frenchtown Township. It's located along US 24, North Telegraph Road on Buell Road, which if you read the Link 2.0 plan, part of our objectives were to create development along our major corridors. We didn't want development in areas that weren't designated for this, and certainly US 24, a state trunk line, certainly aligns with that ability to create this kind of a development there. We also look at, both commercial and industrial, retail and entertainment districts along our corridors. This isn't those. This is the commercial kind of industrial side of it. What we are asking you to contribute helps incentivize this project that we've been conveying to this developer for, a few years now. Will be the largest building in Monroe County at 1.5 million square feet. To give you an idea where that stands in some of the other buildings, Stellantis Dundee, 1.3 million. The former Milan Ford plant, 1.2 million. The Ford facility on the Pleasance Road is 1.1 million. The Ford facility out at the old Nike Missile Base is 1 million. The former Monroe stamping plant down by the port is 1 million square feet. And then the nuclear power plant is 300,000 square feet. So a significant building. This building also has the capability on its site to add another 500,000 square feet to take it to 2 million. The project in total represents a $150 million investment into the county, and that is significant. It would be the third highest taxable value property in the county, behind only DTE, which has 2 power generating plants, and ITC Holdings, and so a significant increase in the tax base. Initially, 150 jobs with an annual payroll estimated a little over $7 million, and that's reoccurring value each and every year into our community. And so together with the Business Alliance and Frenchtown Township, we've presented on this project many times at the township level, meetings after meeting, phone calls and emails to get it to where it is. And so we recommend the model motion to approve the allocation of $1,081,000 of American Rescue Plan Act funds, which would represent about 27% of the stormwater component of this project. So, it's a large site, large parking, and it needs significant stormwater management. It's allowed under the American Rescue Plan Act, and so we are contributing to that portion of the project only. There's some cleaning and enhancements to the drain where this will all outflow, but there's also significant infrastructure that's going to be developed on the site. And so with that, Mr. Ewell, did I miss anything that you'd like to comment on? I think you all know Mr. Ewell, Economic Development and Public Safety Director for Frenchtown Township and one of our partners on this project.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here tonight to strongly encourage your support for funding the Grandview project. This is more than just another development, as Mr. Bosonic just indicated. It's a strategic investment, a long-term growth and financial strength of both Frenchtown Township and the county as a whole. The Grandview development on Telegraph Road represents a significant opportunity to expand our tax base, attract new business, and create lasting economic impact. Projects like this just don't happen. They require a partnership, vision, and a willingness to invest in the county's future. We've already seen what can be accomplished when we work together. This project is a next step forward, and your support tonight will ensure that momentum continues. Simply put, this is an investment that will pay dividends for years to come for Frenchtown, for the county, and for all of our residents. I respectfully ask for your support, continued support. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Ewell or Mr. Bosonic?
I just had a quick question. With that location, will this water pool possibly affect positively any parcels for any residential development? I know when we were working down in South County, sometimes we look at that and go, we've got a business coming in, but if we can pull sewer or water down some agriculture, that can be converted into maybe a possible future subdivision. With the housing crisis right now, I'm just wondering, is there that possibility, or is this specifically more industrial commercial endeavor?
Well, in terms of the site location, they've selected an area where the infrastructure is there along Telegraph Road and there's
Right.
water, so they're really going to be tapping into that. Now, they will be running main and extensions for, fire protection and those things onto the site, but in terms of another type of development alongside this leverages it. I don't think all of the total property is being consumed by this project, so there could be some ancillary facilities built there, but I would not say that residential is an opportunity there.
Okay.
There may be commercial, maybe on the other side of Buell at some point, and maybe frontage on Telegraph Road, but I don't see anything beyond that being leveraged by this project.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Asper?
Apologize for my ignorance on this. We have a really serious problem with drainage in Monroe County, and I'm just wondering, I know you can get it to drain, but where does it drain to, that it will not, cause a complex problem with the rest of the drainage problems we already have?
Sure. So part of any project planning and site approval is the storm drainage and management system through the Drain Commissioner's office. And so engineers have designed this. There's a series of detention basins where simply water runoff from the hard surface is held on site, and then it's metered out over time into the Bressler drain. And so part of this overall enhancement is to make sure that the Bressler drain can accommodate this additional flow, but certainly the mitigation efforts are in place in terms of the overall design to hold that water, retain that water, and then release it over time into the Bressler drain. So, in terms of your question, it should not create any additional flooding based upon, those standards that are out there for civil engineering for stormwater management systems.
Okay, thanks.
And on that same note, I see that Jenna Morris is here tonight with the interim director for the Drain Commission, Commissioner. I don't want to speak on behalf of her, but and correct me if I'm misspeaking, but Jenna has done an extensive, and the Drain Commission, extensive work with the developer, and I believe they're making some major improvements to the drain running through the backside of the property. So that is in the works, and so I think that will help quite a bit also.
Additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Can I, one more thing?
Sure.
I just want to, on behalf of Frenchtown Charter Township, and one of our board members is here also, Chris Collins, I want to take a moment to thank you all for your continued support of development in Frenchtown Township. It truly makes a difference, and we're seeing that impact in the growth and new opportunities coming into our community. Also want to recognize Mr. Bosonic. He has been a driving force behind so much of the progress. His ongoing support, assistance, and guidance, especially with our corridor improvement districts on Telegraph and North Dixie Highway, have been incredibly valuable. Quite honestly, without his continued involvement, much of what we're accomplishing today would not be possible. Your support has also been critical to key projects shaping our future. Our new water tower is a great example, and without it, our ability to expand northward in the county simply would not exist. Your contribution to the Grandview Farms development on Telegraph Road will bring a significant new tax base that benefits not just Frenchtown, but the entire county. I always say what's good for Frenchtown is good for the county and all of our municipal partners. And we're doing together proves that. We're delivering real results, and we're just getting started. And I also want to recognize Tim Lake, who, as Mr. Bosonic indicated, started this with us about 3 years ago. And also the Business Alliance, also T.C. Clements and Sean Struby. But Tim and I started, and Mr. Bosonic started this project if Tim remembers, he's retired now, but the property was not even for sale. So I'm particularly proud of this project. We approached the landowners and started this from the ground up. So we're very proud of the project. This is going to be great for Monroe County. And again, I can't thank the board enough for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Our next item is a funding request dated April 15, 2026 for infrastructure investment under Monroe Link Plan 2.0 in the amount of $750,000 toward the St. Mary Academy Historic Rehabilitation Preservation Economic Development Project as a public partner with the City of Monroe. Funding from the earned interest on the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Could I get a motion for this? Motion. Moved by Commissioner Swartout. Supported by Levens. Now, questions or comments on this motion? Does, Mr. Bosanic, the interest earnings,
Yeah,
the
that's
same
what I wanted to
rules
ask.
apply to the interest earnings?
No, and that's what's unique about this funding approach. The project itself is quite unique and quite exciting from a rehabilitation, redevelopment standpoint, and just kind of the economic impact that it will have. But the interest earnings, and we were about $3.2 million. And so when we think about backloading all of these infrastructure and some of the other projects till now we're up against the clock a little bit, but we'll manage the race to the finish line. But it's allowed our treasurer's office to invest these funds over a couple of years. And so all those interest earnings, and if you remember, interest earnings clicked up, they were close to 5%. And so we were moving along quite nicely, generating nice interest income. That's like general fund money, so there are no strings attached, other than it has to be spent in the same method you would spend any other general fund money. And what's unique about this approach here is that this project normally would not qualify for American Rescue Plan Act money. It certainly fits within our strategic economic development plan, and it's a great example of this public-private partnership to get these projects across the finish line. I'm really excited about the position that the county's in, and if the board accepts our recommendation, to be able to be that catalyst to get it across the finish line in terms of then unlocking the money to see this project come to fruition. So enough for me, Mr. Chairman. Mark Cochran, who's the acting city manager, has a short little presentation to go through with you. And then after that, if it's okay, we'll be happy to answer questions. So, Mr. Cochran.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bosanic, Mr. Chairman, commissioners. Thank you for having us tonight. I heard you were giving away $1 billion tonight, but we're only here to request $750,000 for this project. But I think Mr. Bosanic hit it on the head when he mentioned partnerships as being the cornerstone for this project. I believe it was just over 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago at this point, when the IHM leadership and the Community Foundation of Monroe County convened a group of leaders, including Mr. Bosanic, the county, the city, the YMCA, MCOP, and others, to talk about what can we do to take this facility into its next future. And at that meeting, Mr. Mazarin, Keith Mazarin, he's with us this evening, was also there, and he asked for a tour the next day. The next day, the sisters and I walked the facility with Keith, and we saw that the sisters built the building 94 years ago out of steel, concrete, and brick, and it can last another 100 years. And so that kind of sealed the deal, and at that point, Mr. Mazarin entered into an agreement with the sisters to begin the redevelopment planning for the project. So I imagine this facility is well known to many of us. Being built in 1932, it's impacted generations of Monroe County residents and beyond, from young ladies who went there when it was a school, to the community use that it had after the girls' school merged with the boys' school. It's been vacant since 2001, but it is a rather large behemoth. Mr. Bosanic was listing off the largest buildings in Monroe County, and I think this is probably the largest historic vacant building that we have in the county that deserves a new future. It's about 270,000 square feet. it is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, so the building is recognized as having significance on the national scale, not only for its architecture, but also the history. Of course, with the IHM celebrating well over 180 years in our community from their first home where St. Mary's Park is now until it burned and they built this facility. But a couple years ago, St. Therese purchased the mother house from the IHM congregation and opened the IHM senior living community to lay people. And this property was split off into a 16-acre campus that is obviously adjoining to the IHM mother house and Norman Towers, and nestled right in the middle of two great neighborhoods in the city, as well as its proximity to downtown parks, trails, and other quality of life amenities. It is zoned in the city as a legacy site, so it's a non-traditional zoning designation, but that's in consideration of its steep history within our community, our county, along the banks of the River Raisin. And so working with Mr. Mazzarant and KM Cornerstone, what is proposed is a 5-story mixed-use development with an investment total of just about $109 million into the entire facility. So the partnership continued over the past 2 years. We've worked with the Michigan Municipal League, the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, Quinn Evans Architects, who is the architects for the Michigan Central train station, to come up with a schematic vision for the project and what the future of the site could hold. The lower 2 floors, the gymnasium, the foyer, the chapel, and of course the famous marble staircases that many in our community fondly recall, in the gymnasium, all could be divided up into 32 separate commercial spaces for occupancy, both that would serve a community use but also serve the residents. Commissioner Moore, I'm glad you mentioned the housing crisis that every community across the country is dealing with right now. And Mr. Mazzarant looked at the upper 3 floors and dividing those up into 114 new residential dwellings that would be available for occupancy once the project is completed. So the partnerships and who's been involved in this project so far, of course, the IHM and their cooperation and agreement with Mr. Mazzarant, but also St. Therese, as they're looking forward to the future and the redevelopment of the mother house. Mr. Mazzarant and the city have been engaged in conversations about the development on this side of the property, complementing their future plans for the mother house on the westerly side of the property. Of course, Keith Mazzarant and KM Cornerstone is the developer. The city, the Monroe Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, the Downriver Community Conference, together between the city, the Brownfield Authority, and the DCC, we've committed just under $2 million in funding for this project so far in the form of asbestos abatement through the EPA Revolving Loan Fund grant at the Downriver Community Conference, and then the city through a grant with the Ralph Wilson Foundation, the Michigan Municipal League for the schematic design. And then the Brownfield Authority just last week approved a $27 million brownfield plan that will help support the redevelopment through TIF capture. And then continued interest with Ralph C. Wilson, and then the federal state funding partners, conversations with our state legislators, but given the property is listed on the National Register, it does qualify for both state and federal historic preservation tax credits that Mr. Mazzarant does intend to pursue. So the request for this project is $750,000 that would come to the city, and this would support pre-development readiness programming that would provide the architectural, structural engineering analysis and design. And I would also be remiss, the city also provided funds to Mr. Mazzarant to do a structural analysis to confirm that steel, brick, and concrete is in strong structural condition, and it was confirmed that it is. The site plan development, of course, we're hearing from a lot of the neighbors and people in the community about how is traffic going to access the site? Is Mr. Mazzarant going to mow the front yard in the condition that it's in right now? And so developing a site plan and getting that approved through a pre-development before construction will begin. And then the historic rehabilitation plan. So working with qualified historic preservation experts to come up with the historic preservation plan that will allow for the unlocking of those state and federal tax credits. Civil and site engineering, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, of course, one of the challenges is there is no electricity in the building right now, and Mr. Mazarin's been working through the planning with that, but developing the formal engineering plans. And then construction readiness, coming up with a phasing plan for the redevelopment, and then other technical studies that would be needed. All of this would commence immediately, starting in the spring. I know Mr. Mazarin is engaged with an engineering and architectural firm as well, planning for construction to start by the end of this year and start moving the project forward in the first phase.
So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, under this arrangement, we're, I guess, a silent partner maybe with the city. We're both public partners, but we're going to be taking a back seat. The city's going to act as the lead and think of them as the fiduciary on this project in terms of managing the project and then sending us a statement with supporting documents that, you know, release X amount of money from the allocation. If you approve this, release it to the city. So our payments would go to the city. The city acts as the lead, I don't want to say certifying, but approving payments that are made, and then asking for essentially a draw. There'll be, I would imagine, a couple of draws. We don't want to get into, you know, small dollar amount draws. We'll probably do 2 or 3 draws, and then we'll meet our obligation under this funding arrangement. And so with that, you know, we don't have as much to do in terms of our role, other than providing the financial support to get the project moving towards the finish line.
So,
Questions?
sorry,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. I just want to say on behalf of the city, I know Mayor Clark is here, Councilwoman Steelgrave is here, Keith Mazarin is here. We appreciate and advance the county's support and consideration on this project that, as Mr. Ewell indicated, the success of the city is also the success of the county and our neighbors. And certainly, we've enjoyed a great partnership relationship with the county on many different matters. And walking across the courtyard is an easy thing for developing and sustaining our relationship. So this has been certainly one of the priorities that the city and city council has thrown their support and weight behind, and we appreciate your partnership and joining us with that.
Commissioner Huffman?
Yes, I just have one question. Does that include the Sisters Island then, or are they gonna do anything out there, or no? In the
No, they
river?
will retain ownership of that. The River House across the street too. They also will retain ownership of.
House, correct? The Monsignor's house should be part of it.
Yes. No, it won't be part of the academy redevelopment because Sisters actively live there still.
Oh, I see.
So this only contains the 16 acres immediately around the academy.
It's great news. It's better than seeing another demolition, you know. This is great news for everybody in the county.
Commissioner Levens?
Is everyone concluded with their questions, it looks like? I just want to confirm, you didn't answer, is Mr. Mazarin going to get a mowing attachment for his Sherpa and take care of that landscaping?
If I know Mr. Mazarin, he'll probably be out there mowing it himself, just like he does when he drives his tractor in Newport on the
If he needs help with
weekends.
that Sherpa mowing attachment, I'm his guy.
Noted. Yep.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
So I'll sit down in just a minute, but if you were doing the math, less than $2 million of kind of seed money from this governing board is creating the opportunity for $250 million of investment to come into our community. So this is what economic development is about. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I think, you know, Mark, both these projects are indicative of the endurance that it takes to get them to this point. And we've got further to go, but, you know, certainly to both the comments from Mr. Ewell, Mr. Cochran, and our friends at the Business Alliance, takes all of us continuing to work together. We all have a role to play. It takes a lot of time, but I think this is the exciting part of these projects, to be able to get them to where they're at tonight. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Thank you. Our next item is a letter dated April 21, 2026, from Mr. Jason Berry, Community Planning and Engagement Director, requesting approval to accept the Adult Drug Treatment Court application for opioid settlement funds in the amount of $9,826. Could I get a motion, please?
Allow for the
So
motion
moved.
For discussion.
Motion by Levens, supported by
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Asper. Okay. I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Our department received a request from the Monroe County Adult Drug Treatment Court in the amount of $9,826 of opioid settlement funds. And the request comes from Judge William Nichols, and is basically to provide case management, staff training, and participant incentives for the program that serves individuals facing felony charges that were diagnosed with moderate to severe substance use disorder. So it's a prevention, and the program prevents and reduces recidivism and fosters long-term recovery, and provides treatment, supervision, life skills training, and a number of other services. And the overall goal is to keep people from entering into the criminal justice system further, to prevent them from acquiring that felony. So we see it as a prevention program. I know that a number of the commissioners had asked us to look into that. So we had this application and we wanted to put it before you. Judge Nichols is here, along with his assistant, Patty Riddell, for questions, but I'd be happy to answer some as best I can as well.
Other questions? I will share that I was invited to a drug court treatment session. Judge Nichols invited me, and I will tell you that I was thoroughly impressed. Under the leadership of Judge Nichols, you could just see things happening, and I believe on that particular day it was the first graduation for one of the participants. And the presentation that the graduate made was so heartwarming and genuine, and the participants who gave progress reports, you could see that they were really working hard to change their lives. And so I think this is an absolutely tremendous resource for our county, and I support it 100%. Commissioner Asper?
Yes, I just have a question about the types of treatment. Like, are they all like requiring, say, drugs to get off of drugs? I mean, I'm just wondering about some places where they require Suboxone or some other drug for the person to take that, or are there other treatment programs that they can go through?
Well, for me, one of the most impressive components to this program is the collaborative effort that Judge Nichols and his staff do, working with all of the community players, from the Salvation Army to therapeutics to Paula's House and a number of places. So to answer your question, in all honesty, there may be some individuals who are referred by their doctor for medication-assisted treatments, but that is not the goal of this program. The goal is towards abstinence from all illicit drugs and long-term recovery. So if that is doctored ordered to the individual, they will help that person to follow those conditions, but it is not a requirement. And in my experience, that's not been the case for most of the participants.
The reason I asked wasn't because of the way our county handles things. It's just that I know some of the pharmaceutical companies were trying to bypass judges and so forth to require things. So just want to make sure that wasn't happening.
Yeah, in most cases, these individuals, if they are on medication-assisted treatments, this program will, following the doctor's orders, will help assist them, but they're not looking to help get them on these medications for the most part.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item is a letter dated April 14th, 2026 from Chief Deputy Michael Predmore requesting approval to submit the fiscal year 2027 Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards Justice Training Grant application. The total project has a proposed cost of $28,062 with a 25% match of $7,015.50 requested to be funded in the 2027 Sheriff's Office budget. Could I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner, moved
Second.
by Swartout, supported by Huffman.
Okay.
Are there questions on this motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And the final item is a letter dated April 21, 2026 from Mr. Jason Berry, Planning and Engagement Director, requesting approval to accept the 2026 Michigan Public Safety Critical Incident Mapping Competitive Grant in the amount of $11,955 with no matching funds. Could I get a motion on this?
So moved.
Moved by Asper, supported by Heinzerling. Questions on this motion?
Can you explain a little bit on it? I see,
Good evening again. So you may recall we had come before you last month to apply for permission to apply for this grant that's offered by the Michigan State Police. Essentially, we would act as the fiduciary of this grant to work with the CRG group to provide these services, which are the creating standardized site maps into a single digital interface for first responders. The grant originally was for approximately $25,000. We were awarded the $11,955. So we had to get another quote. We took the recommendations of the CRG group, and we want to create those digital or those site maps and put them in digitally, make them digitally available for first responders for the jail, both jails and the courthouse. Essentially, those maps, if you look through the packet, you would have seen macro or micro maps that are going to be offered. So area overviews and then the details within each of those sites, access points for the doors, for the roofs, utility shutoffs, alarm systems, and so on. During a crisis, the commander in charge of that crisis would have access to this and would be able to disperse and make decisions collectively with police, firefighters, and so forth to respond efficiently and effectively. That's the short, it's kind of a summarized version of it. It's going to include 4 key elements, as one of the pages in your packet says: site visits, updates, and enhancements, working with our 911 communication center, law enforcement, and fire service as well. And then really important to us is being compatible with our current systems as well. So we want everyone, or all parties involved, to be on the same page for this project.
I just want to say that's great that we got it, because I know back when I was a first responder, we'd go to a call, somebody's in the occupant in the house, nobody knows the layout of the house. Lose a lot of life that way, because this way, if somebody has a heart attack, and command can take a hold and get the right people to the right place. Very good, very good.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would just echo Commissioner Hoffman, too. This isn't a very flashy thing, but if you talk to any first responder, they're extremely important for on-site volatile situations to have a map of a building or a structure to know exactly where you need to put personnel. So thank you for working on this grant and hopefully getting it.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
We have no public hearing. Is there any old business the Board of Commissioners wishes to take up? Any new business? We'll now move into our second segment of public comment. Are there citizens who wish to address the board?
evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is David Edwards, and I reside in the city of Monroe. Just want to express my appreciation for the resolution tonight for National Police Week in the county of Monroe, starting on May 10th. I come from a law enforcement family, and many of you know me from my work at the City of Monroe Police Department as the wellness officer, from which I recently retired. Those two words sound so good together. Recently retired. Although I'm not really so much retired, I'm just tired because I still get up and go to work every day somewhere. But at any rate, I've had several years of experience in the law enforcement community, still provide training for police officers in the field of mental health. Both my sons became police officers. My oldest son finished out his time in law enforcement in the village of Carlton here in the county. And my younger son, Matt, was killed in the line of duty in the city of Taylor back in July of 2010. So from a family perspective as well, I can say how much I appreciate the commissioners passing that resolution tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. T.C. Clements. I live in Temperance, Michigan. I'm the CEO of the Monroe County Business Alliance. A really smart person told me one time, if you have nothing impressive to say, be brief. So I only rise tonight just to say thank you for your support of the two projects that came before you tonight. There's no question that this board is so far out in front of so many other counties when it comes to the development of our community, and it's so appreciated because it gives us opportunity to impact not just tomorrow, not just 5 years from now, but literally decades. You know, you guys all know that you have the ability to either tax horizontally or vertically. And every time we approve one of these and every time we bring another resource to the community, it's that vertical strive which protects our neighbors. It increases our labor pool, and it also brings diversity to the market so that we're not only bringing jobs here, but they're jobs that are going to give people options, and also for the new workforce coming from the high school. So thank you again very much. It is absolutely a joy to do this. Hats off to everyone involved. Tim Lake, Mark Cochran, Dave Ewell, Sean Strube. I mean, literally half the room could stand up and take some credit for economic development, and clearly each of you. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any other citizens that wish to address the board? Seeing none, we have no announcements. We'll now move into members' time. Commissioner Asper.
Well, I would just like to say, reminding people that this month is Autism Awareness Month in addition. And Mr. Edwards was your name? My own brother was a police officer. He was a sergeant also, and I just appreciate the service that your family has done. There is a candlelight vigil at the Capitol on May 4th. I don't have the time in front of me, but if any of you want to attend that, that is for those who have fallen over the last year. And it just is knowing what my brother saw in 27 years of service, you can't unsee things. And I do ask you to pray for the mental health of those officers out there, because the things they see, they do things that we would not want to do. And so I just want to reiterate that.
Commissioner Moore?
Yeah, just a few quick things. I think it speaks a lot to our community to see all the faces here in different forms of leadership that came tonight. There's a lot of different places you could be. I know we're all busy. We have families and work. From seeing the mayor here to our counterpart out in Frenchtown, I forgot your name, sir. I'm sorry, the trustee. Obviously, Tim Lake, I don't know, crawled out from whatever hut he was in Fiji on the beach and decided to come grace us with the presence. You know, Keith and the drain commissioner. It just, you know, the judge. It just speaks a lot to everyone kind of supporting the vision. So I do appreciate that. Also want to say thank you to Mr. Mike Davidson for his information with someone with so much extensive credibility. It was nice to hear you ask some questions that I know I've been asking, as well as a few other commissioners on this board. So thank you for keeping us honest and transparent. And I would agree with Commissioner Levens. I would have paid good money to go by Elm Avenue and see Keith in a wife beater and his beard cozy on a riding lawnmower outside of St. Mary's Academy. That would have been awesome, but we probably won't. With that, I'll pass.
Commissioner Swartout.
Yes, great presentations tonight, and I'd like to invite everybody to Earth Day this Saturday. It's at 11 o'clock at the Gerald Welch Health and Education Building. Come out and see our drain commissioner, our sheriff, and myself. We're going to be presenters there.
Mr. Heinzerling. Mr. Levens.
Well, I wanted to echo Commissioner Moore's comments, but he stole my thunder, and he recognized Lake, and when I saw TC, I thought maybe a Carnival Cruise Line broke down, and that's why he was here today. But it's nice to see him, everybody.
Commissioner Hoffman.
I have to say something. I appreciate everybody's here. It's a great community, other than the beginning of the mess we got. And I appreciate what Michael had to say back there to us today, and we'll take it in a grain of salt. But this is all in the Attorney General's hands. But shame on the character that's here. He could have walked out of here, and none of this county would be in any of this anchor, if you want to call it an anchor. We would not be here because we'd have went about as normal business. Because there's a man sitting out there should be representing District 2, and we went by our legal, and they says, have a special election. We did it. He was all the votes he picked up on the Republican side, 3,000 plus. He should have been left in that seat. And I know I'm getting calls regularly, and I take care of them. They're in District 2, which I don't mind. And I got a thing going right now with several farmers because they're bringing a big solar panels in all the way up North Custer, possibly 3,000 acres. But if that character would have just walked out of here instead of putting the wool over the voters' eyes when he said, I'm going to run again, just one thing to the next. It's sad. It's sad we got to be going through this because everybody's happy. We're doing a good job. I mean, we don't need that black eye and all the other things that's trying to surface from it. It's sad that it all had to come to this edge. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Vice Chairman Lamore.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to say personally, thank you for everybody being here. It's very important to have your views and your points. Especially want to say thank you to Dave and Mark, Dave Ewell and Mark Cochran for your presentations tonight. This is really what I'm here for, is the economic development. This is what drives our communities. This is what's going to help our children in the future. And, you know, the iron's hot. Let's keep going. Let's not stop here. That we've got a lot to do, and man, I love this stuff. I'd love to see the building. I'd love to see the economic development. It's just, this is going to be impressive. And this is, what did we say? How much money was this, Mike, that we're investing right now?
250, 260 million.
I mean, I'd like to know how many other counties in the state of Michigan are investing that much right now, or getting that much investment in their county, percentage-wise, for the amount of population we have. This is truly impressive, and let's keep it going. I love it. So thank you to everybody.
Mr. Bosanic.
To Vice Chairman Lamore's point, I included in my report this little matrix. It's a little fine print, but the county now has invested $10.5 million of ARPA money and now ARPA interest money for that total. As it stands today, our local units of government have contributed $17.2 million, and that number is going to rise because some of the projects aren't yet done, and there's been some cost escalation. So we're at $27.7 million. I'm sure that number is going to hit $30 million of infrastructure. This is sewer lines, extension of sewer lines. Mr. Ewell talked about a water tower to allow fire suppression, pressure to get out further for additional development. To TC's point, this is for long-term development. Now it's tomorrow, it's midterm, it could be 10 years from now, but we're setting the stage for creating these opportunities for the next generation. And I always, in my circles, I talk about it's the opportunities. Don't talk about the tax base. That'll come. It's creating the opportunities for our citizens. And I think by what we're doing as a county to leverage $10.5 million to essentially get $30 million of infrastructure. I've been around here couple of years now, I've never seen this kind of investment towards economic development. So might not have an announcement next week or 2 weeks from now, although the city's going to be here next week, or the next meeting. We're going to talk about another development. But these things are going to come, and I think we have a great opportunity for future development. I think the iron's going to stay hot. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
I'll just finish by thanking and recognizing and congratulating all the leadership that's in this room tonight and the willingness to come together to partner to make Monroe County better. I know Mr. Yule said as the success of Frenchtown goes, so goes the success of Monroe County. Mr. Cochran echoed the same sentiments. So as the success of the city, so goes the success of Monroe County. I think we can say that about all the townships and villages in the city of Luna Pier and all the different jurisdictions in this county, that when we make a decision and are determined that we're going to partner and we're going to work in a spirit of cooperation with each other, that really good things happen. And so I'm very excited about what's happened tonight. Thank you for that. And with that, I'll adjourn.